Hello, my name is Bree, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel, Breezy Banter, the place where I talk about the things I want to talk about. In today's video, I'm doing a continuation of the series that I have here on my channel, where I talk about my experience with a particular indie perfume house. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing Sorcellerie. I probably completely butchered that. I know I've seen the pronunciation explained in a Reddit comment somewhere, but as far as I'm aware, I'm going to say Sorcellerie. That said, that is the name that they are commonly known by. However, they have since changed to just Sorce or Sorce. Again, I'm not entirely sure of the pronunciation, but you might see both referenced online. I will use Sorcellerie. I will include both in the title of this video just so it's abundantly clear what store I'm talking about. But with all of that said, let me just give a brief overview of the way in which this video will progress. So first, I will tell you the name of the perfume that I tried. I will rate it out of 10 and then tell you whether I plan on full sizing it. I will tell you the notes of the perfume and then my own personal description based on my experience wearing that perfume. And I'll also talk about my experience with the customer service and turnaround time of the store. And before we begin, I'll also briefly describe the types of perfumes that I tend to enjoy. In terms of my favorite notes, I really enjoy sweet scents, or what a lot of people would consider very feminine scents, particularly as it pertains to gourmands. So that includes notes such as vanilla, cake, cupcake, frosting, sugar, cotton candy. I also really enjoy water/oceanic scents. In terms of scents that I find are okay or hit or miss, these include most fruit notes, particularly notes such as peach or apple, and I find musk can be in this category as well. And then in terms of scents that I dislike, these include rose, pumpkin, incense, and wood, and basically anything that tends to lean more masculine and sometimes even androgynous. With that out of the way, let's get on to talking about some scents. So the first perfume that I tried is called A Party or Something. I rated this 8 out of 10, and I might full size it. The notes are marigolds, yellow cake, white chocolate, pistachio buttercream, ISO-E super, cashmere. I said that this scent is definitely more gourmand than sweet. It's warm and rich without a lot of sugar in it. I think it'd be a good choice for someone who wants to smell like pastries manufactured outside of the US. And by that I really mean like not super sweet gourmands. Next I have the scent A Witch's Valentine, which I have not yet tried, but I will just tell you the notes. They are marshmallow, Moroccan rose absolute, raspberry puree, white chocolate, and the softest suede. I did my best to do this series in terms of houses in which I've completed all samples in my possession. There are a handful like this where there's one that there's actually two that I ordered that I have not yet sampled, but I will. But I figured I would it made more sense for me to make the video than to keep putting it off. Next is the scent Beautiful but Annihilating. I rated this 7 out of 10 and will not be full sizing it. The notes are fresh coconut, jasmine sambac, tonka bean, salty skin. I said that this scent is interesting. Upon first application, I definitely got mostly fruity notes, perhaps cherry or a berry of some sort. However, at the end of the day, I got creamy, salty coconut. The latter scent is quite nice, but I didn't really enjoy the first part of wearing this. Next is Cake for Breakfast, which I rated 8 out of 10, and I might full size it. The notes are birthday cake, ripe mango, pineapple, coffee, maple syrup, and a hint of cardamom. I said that I mostly got vanilla cake mixed with some fruit, cherry, along with some other notes. It was nice and sweet, but I should have applied less. That said, it smelled absolutely awful in the sample vial. This is something that I've been failing to mention in each of my videos, but I really encourage you, if you purchase perfumes, to don't just smell it in the bottle. Perfume is meant to be applied to the skin, so if you do that, if you just smell it in the bottle, you're likely to be missing something from the perfume, and there's a fairly good chance that it will change at least a little bit once actually applied. And that was the case for this particular scent. Next is the perfume Circe, which I have not tried yet. The notes are palm trees, flowers carried on a tropical breeze, wild bananas, freshly cracked coconut, sheer vanilla, and musk. Next is Clairsentient. I rated this 7 out of 10, and I will not be full sizing it. The notes are a fizzy blackberry, raspberry, and bergamot cocktail, spun sugar, juniper berries, floaty vanilla, ISO-E super. I said that this scent was nice and florally, but it was less sweet than I would have preferred. Next is Dreaming Evil, which I rated 7 out of 10, and I will not be full sizing. The notes are vanilla, tonka bean, benzoin, cocoa, sheer woods, and oud. I said that this scent was nice. I originally thought it was vanilla, benzoin, and chocolate, but reading the notes, I definitely get cocoa and oud. It is very rich. Next is the perfume Fuckery, which I rated 9 out of 10, and I will be full sizing it. The notes are Luxardo cherry, caramelized sugar, vanilla, cinnamon, sandalwood, tobacco absolute, smoke, night air, clean sheets. I said that this scent is dark and sexy. I definitely get smoke, wood, tobacco, and some sweetness. I also feel like I get a bit of leather from it. It's nice, but simply not for me. That said, as I mentioned, I do plan on full sizing it. So I edited this comment and I said, after smelling this on my clothes a few days later, I suspect I'd over applied it and it ended up smelling incredible. Sometimes what will happen is I'll put on a perfume and I might think it's like okay, but then maybe the next day or a couple days later, I'll go to put on a sweater that I was wearing like a few days back when I was wearing that perfume, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, what is that? And if that happens, I have found that what it means is that I over applied the first day, and when I'm smelling like the base notes later on, I'm really enjoying it. And so I suspect that's what happened here. And so that explains my turnaround. Next is the scent Good at Being Bad. I rated this 10 out of 10, and I've since full sized it. The notes are dark salted vanilla, buttercream, a swirl of honey, and a whisper of jasmine. I said the scent is like musky vanilla with some floral notes mixed in. I don't get the honey, but I do get the creaminess from the butterscotch note. And then similarly to the previous one, I also edited my original thoughts. And I said originally I had given this an 8, but when I went to sleep, I smelled so divine. I think the scent only gets better as it wears. And I very distinctly remember this because I think what had happened was I'd gone to sleep and I was like resting on my arm. And so my nose was very close to my arm, but I was smelling it kind of like after the day had gone by, and it smelled so good. The next scent is Love and Complications. I ended up destashing this one. I didn't like it, so I actually didn't even rate it. But the notes are brown sugar, sweetened condensed milk, plumeria, passion fruit, and soft woods. If I recall, I think this one was more earthy than I was expecting. Next is Love in the Sea. I rated this 7 out of 10, and I will not be full sizing it. The notes are passion fruit and raspberry lemonade, salty skin, coconut water, neroli, driftwood, ambergris. I said, this scent is complicated. I definitely get the passion fruit and some tartness, and it's mixed very nicely with salty coconut. I think I'd be more into it if the passion fruit wasn't so forward. It definitely gives summer at the beach vibes. Next is the scent Match Made in Heaven, which I rated 9 out of 10, and I will be full sizing this. The notes are matcha, vanilla soft serve, cherry blossom, almond, waffle cone, powdered sugar, creamy sandalwood. And I guess some backstory before I give my thoughts is my understanding is that this scent like went viral or something on TikTok. And so I originally didn't want to try it because I don't tend to enjoy tea notes. And so I just assumed that I would just like it. But after I tried it, I said, yeah, okay, this is nice. I'm a believer. I definitely get light matcha with some muskiness while still being sweet. I was complimented while wearing this. And it turns out that the TikTok hype is real. I'm not on TikTok, but I can see why it has sold out as often as it has. So at some point, I do plan on full sizing it once it comes back in stock. The next scent is She's a Witch. I rated this 5 out of 10, and I will not be full sizing it. The notes are pizzelle cookies studded with anise seeds and dusted with powdered sugar, heliotrope, softwoods, musk. I said I'm very mixed on the scent. At first it came across as a lovely and rich gourmand scent. However, over time it started to get a bit of that pickle juice scent in an ever so mild way. I think it might be the musk causing this. What I'm referring to here is sometimes, particularly if a base oil doesn't work on someone's skin, it can turn into what is referred to as like a pickle juice scent. And it's kind of hard to describe if you haven't experienced it. I have a handful of times, and unfortunately this is one of those times. If you're not familiar with it, all you really need to know is that it's not a very appealing scent. Next is Snow Moon Magic, which I rated 8 out of 10, and I might full size it. The notes are lavender sugar, vanilla steamed milk, chai spices, tonka bean, cashmere, ambroxan, crystals charged by the moonlight, with the addition of fluffy marshmallow, a house tincture of Tahitian vanilla beans, and gooey cookie batter. I said the scent is very sweet and nice, but I think it is generally less vanilla heavy than I'm used to. Next is UFO Disco. I rated this 5 out of 10, and I will not be full-sizing it. The notes are mango lassi sprinkled with cardamom, guava, amarice wood, and holographic vanilla musk. I said the scent is definitely very fruity and tropical. It's true to the scent description. Next is Villanelle's Happy Ending, which I rated 5 out of 10, and I will not be full-sizing it. The notes are strawberry, milk, pink pepper, vanilla, cherry blossom, cashmere, creamy, dreamy sandalwood, cedar, cyanide. I said the scent is sweet, floral, and a little bit spicy. I definitely get rose from it despite it not being in the notes. Next is What Big Eyes You Have, which I rated 8 out of 10, and I will be full-sizing this. The notes are Immortelle Absolute, lemon meringue pie, pearlescent vanilla musk. I said this scent was a bit too fruity / musky when I first put it on, but it mellowed out really nicely over time. It's a very feminine scent. So those are all the scents that I tried from Sorcellerie. I think what my big takeaway is from this store is that it's very difficult to tell what the scent will be like once on the skin if you smell it in the bottle, and that almost all of their scents only got better over time. And so what that means is people talk about scrubbers, and that's basically if you put on a scent and it's so awful that like you have to wash it off. And while I certainly didn't experience anything at that level, it does make me think that I think I've only experienced maybe 1 or 2 scrubbers in my entire lifetime, but it does make me think that if there's a scent that I'm kind of iffy on, that I should give it a chance to like develop over the day. And it's very possible that the time in which it needs to change, or for like the notes to really come to life, it could be on the shorter end, it could be a couple minutes, but it could also be a couple hours, and then it's up to me as a wearer to decide whether or not I'm willing to put in that time. I think I had a fair bit of success with Sorcellerie. I only rated like 3 scents out of 5, and the rest were 7 or higher, which is pretty good. I think I was a little nervous about ordering from them because a lot of their notes, a lot of the scents that I picked out are gourmand, sort of sweet sounding scents, but they're missing some of the notes that I tend to really enjoy that I mentioned earlier, like sugar, cake, cotton candy. Like there might be 1 or 2 that has some of those in there, but it seems like a lot of their scents there are other notes, and then it might have some vanilla. And so I was a bit nervous that they wouldn't be as sweet as I tend to go for, but that turned out to not be the case. And I ended up liking the vast majority of what I tried from the store. So I would recommend it to people that I think would enjoy gourmand scents that are perhaps on the less sweet side of things. Then in these videos, the next part that I get into is discussing customer service and turnaround time. I tried to find my order history with Sorcellerie, and I was not able to do so. That said, I do know for a fact that they shipped out within their stated turnaround time. I can't remember what it is because I had ordered when they were very new as a shop, and I believe their turnaround time has changed several times since then, but they were well within the turnaround time, and I never had any issues, so I never had to reach out. So I have no concerns or issues there. This brand is rather beloved by the indie makeup and more subreddit community, and I think for a good reason. I think there's a lot of thought and care that goes into these perfumes, and I feel like it becomes apparent in so many ways, both in how the owner interacts with her customers, in the packaging, in the collections that are released. It seems like this is really a passion project gone right. And that's really exciting. One thing that I'll mention is they do have samples of their sizes, and I'm a little confused as to how they're doing things now because, as I mentioned, when I first ordered, they had, I think, maybe just like 1 or 2 collections, and I might have ordered a sample pack of my favorites from those few collections. And I think now things are a little bit different. Sometimes they do pre-orders and seasonal releases, so things have changed. And that one particular perfume that I mentioned, Match Made in Heaven, I think that that's going to be a difficult one to get my hands on, but I look forward to the time in which I'm able to do so. I also know that I didn't receive a free sample when I ordered. It's also possible that that has changed since. Like I said, they were very new when I first ordered from them, so it wouldn't surprise me to find out that that has changed, but in my experience, I did not receive a free sample. I do just like mentioning that because I think that that's something that matters to a lot of people. As I've said many times before on my channel, it does not matter to me. All that matters to me is that I get what I paid for. Anything above that is nice, but it's not something I expect or will negatively review a company for. So I think that's all that I had to talk about today as it pertains to this particular perfume house. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Have you tried this house before? And if you have, what was your favorite scent from them? Is it one that I mentioned, or is it another that I need to try? I'd also really appreciate if you'd like to comment and subscribe to my channel. Before I go, I'd like to take a minute to thank you for taking time out of your day to spend watching this video. It really means a lot to me. Thank you. Bye.